When I think of Women's History Month, I think of, very, very famous people. I think of famous people in history and what they've accomplished. But did you know that we ensure we have over 60 women owners across the entire network? And again, we're in beginning stage today, but we want to go back to kind of our history as well and talk to some of the owners that are in Florida, some of the American owners, and the female owners as they go through. And I'd love to find out kind of a little bit about them and what then made them do what they do today. So I'm going to start with Amber Bradford. Amber, how are you?
I am great. How are you?
Fantastic. Well, I want to ask you first. Again, you're in Navarre, Florida, so you're in the Panhandle.
That's correct.
And I bet you have fantastic weather and beautiful beaches around you.
It's been pretty nice lately, that's for sure.
Well, this is that great time of year. So let me start with the first question. Tell me a little bit about yourself and about your agency.
Sure. So I opened in September of 2018, and we've hit the ground running. It's been an awesome experience. So I moved over I was basically a CSR. I worked at a couple other agencies. I managed one agency here in Navarre, and that was I kind of fell into insurance on accident. I went through a divorce and I needed to get a job as fast as possible, and they weren't hiring in what my degree was in. And so I went and interviewed not expecting to get the job, and I got hired on as a general manager of Carpenter Insurance. And it kind of just took off from there. I left there, went to a larger agency, and that's where I really learned sales, and I really learned the ins and outs of writing insurance and helping clients. So when I worked at the larger agency called Underwood Anderson, I decided that if I was really ever going to make a career and a go out of this, I just needed to do it on my own. And We Insure kind of gave me the tools that I needed to succeed. And I don't know if I'd say that we've succeeded just yet, but we're growing. So that's awesome.
And you've gone ahead and you've hired some other producers recently, haven't you?
I have. So we've had a couple, and I currently have one producer, and I have an assistant that's a CSR.
Fantastic. So you really are on the growth track. So you answered the question of why you want to become a business owner. So I'm going to skip to the end here and just say, do you have any advice for any other folks looking at either reinsure or any other women entrepreneurs out there looking to get into their own business?
Yeah, so it's scary and it's stressful, but I don't regret it at all. There's definitely something to be said about standing on your own 2 feet and being able to know that you gave your all and that you're creating something and that you're actually making a difference, that you're really helping people. And that's sometimes you get all caught up in the day-to-day, and you have a bad day or you have a stressful day, and you forget why you do what you do. And then all of a sudden you get a review that comes in, and that client talks about how you were the only one that helped them. You were the only one that took the time to explain everything to them. You got them the best rate, and it kind of just makes it all worth it again. So it's definitely not for the faint at heart, but I would highly recommend it, especially with We Insure, because they just make it so much easier than trying to start from the ground up.
Well, that's fantastic, and we're very happy to have you as part of the We family. So thank you for joining us this morning. And we are going to introduce next Mimi Stroud. So continuing on our women owners of We, and their own history makers, of course, having your own agency. Mimi, you're in the Fort Lauderdale area, and you are an owner, and you've done quite well down at Fort Lauderdale. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your agency and kind of how you work. Oh, I think you're still on mute.
Ha, thank you. Thank you, Chris, and good morning. I'm pretty excited to be here, part of the We Wonder Women. I opened our agency with my business partner, Tyler Arrington. We opened last March 2020. So kind of a radical time to be starting to open a business and talk about what Amber said, not being for the faint of heart. But, I come from a large background of small family business owners on both sides of my family. And after spending, many years home raising my two boys when they were younger, and trying to get back into the workforce. And, I watched my mom, and who's a local real estate here in Fort Lauderdale, and my husband, who's a sales manager for Caliber Home Loans here in Broward County. Watching them kind of work locally in those networks of communities. And I said, this is something to get into. What other facet can I fit myself into? And I got into the insurance industry, and Tyler was kind of my mentor. And we decided it was time to kind of spread our wings and start our own agency. And we couldn't be happier with the tools that WE has given us between their foresight, into the industry and the leadership that they provide as a company.
Well, fantastic. Well, I can tell you, you talked a little bit there about, why you wanted to get into your own business, which is fantastic. Any advice that you may have for other, female entrepreneurs out there, or folks looking to get in with WE in general? What was one of the one things you would share with them that you found out about WE?
One thing that I always take a lot of pride in as a businesswoman in our local community is, just kind of operating with honesty and integrity at all times with the client. And I just think that leads to stronger referral relationships and stronger business partnerships with your clients, and, carries over from there. As the business continues to grow, that reputation and the referral sources continue to grow, and just operating by that golden rule that we all teach our children.
Well, I bet it makes it a lot easier when you have access to quite a few more carriers. It gives you the opportunity to actually give that family what they need, not just what you have available. So I'm sure that makes it a lot easier for you as well.
100%. The tools and the market access that WE Insure offers us as franchise owners, there's really nothing parallel to it.
Well, thank you for joining us this morning. It is St. Patrick's Day, so you'll see a lot of green. So thank you for joining. Have a great day. Enjoy Fort Lauderdale. Again, fantastic weather, good time of year. So
yeah, thank you, Chris.
You got it. Well, next up, we're going to talk to Debbie Reynolds. So Debbie is in the Port Charlotte area. Debbie, how are you doing this morning?
Good. Good morning, Chris. How are you?
Great to see everyone. Some of these people are in the office. This is fantastic. So Debbie, you had an extensive experience in insurance, and you're in Punta Gorda, and you have a commercial background with one, even one of the different carriers out there, not that we've worked with, and we don't work with anymore as we go through. So tell us a little bit about your background, your agency, and why you became a business owner.
Well, and I'm probably a little bit later in the business owner scheme of things. I've been in insurance for a little over 30 years. I started out at an independent agency for about 4.5 years, transferred over to a captive agent, actually, State Farm. Mm-hmm. I managed that office for 16 years. And
well, let me tell you, when work calls, she takes it. Oh, there we go.
I had issues with my email for my computer, so I had to log in from my phone, and unfortunately, I turned off my app. And until about 2008, when they changed their stance on insurance, and it was no longer a customer loyal company. They didn't look at your history and your track record with them. The whole environment changed. And at that point, I went out back into the independent world. I focused on commercial insurance for the next 10 years. But I spent time mentoring the other agents and CSRs in the office because of the background I had in both personal and commercial lines. And I decided it was just time to open up and do something for myself. And I did check into all the other franchises out there. I had spoken to several company reps about getting my own appointment and not doing a franchise. But WE offers more than just the appointments. The access to several appointments was wonderful, but the background support, the help in the accounting and commission reconciliation, there's just such a network and a team here that it's more than just the appointments behind the franchise.
Well, I'll tell you what, when you say franchise to some folks, it's kind of the F word, right? So they're afraid of being locked into something. And the reality of it is it's a system, right? So it allows you to leverage that system, and I like to call it, jump into the front of the line. So you have those carrier appointments, you have that support, and allows you to leverage everything that you want to do so you can go out there and grow your book, as opposed to worrying about all the other things that are associated with running your business. So I think you said it very well.
Right. There's so much more value besides just the appointments. Absolutely.
Well, fantastic. Any other advice that you might have for folks out there or other women entrepreneurs?
As far as succeeding in life, I think perseverance and the ability to be flexible, because what's that song? Make your plan and watch God laugh. You have things are going to change. This pandemic, things, you have things thrown at you. You've got to be flexible and go, okay, well then I need to change and do this. So it's all about being flexible and being able to change not necessarily your views, but the way you're going about things to get them done and accomplish them.
That's fantastic. Well, Debbie, I thank you for joining us today, and we appreciate you. And again, love to have you part of the We family. So, and I think you said it best there that, the flexibility of the model and being flexible yourself equals a lot of success. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Up next, we have Ashley Duckett. Ashley's in the Fort Myers market. And Ashley's been on a couple weeks ago as well. So we're fortunate to have you back. But thank you for joining us again. And Ashley, you are a business owner very intentionally. And you had the opportunity to come from a captive and had the opportunity to manage multiple offices and to make a decision that you certainly want to come over to WeInsure, carrier access, and a lot of different reasons. But tell us a little bit about yourself and your story and why you became a business owner.
Well, thank you, Chris, for having me. And you kind of gave the background. I come from a family of entrepreneurs, so it's pretty much set in my DNA. That's kind of what you do. It was just kind of figuring out what I wanted to do. And I kind of just fell into insurance, similar to Amber, as looking for a career and finding something that I could rely on. So I got my toes wet working for a captive agency, quickly learned the sales process, went into management very quickly, and was managing 3 locations in about a $13 million book of business. So it was a lot. And on top of that, I was, producing. But the biggest challenge I had was when I started, I knew nothing. So learning all about insurance and, the importance of insurance and how it works. And I quickly learned that ownership was where I wanted to be. It was just a matter of determining where I wanted to go with it, independent versus captive, what was going to be the best option. And kind of like Debbie, getting carrier appointment was going to be the biggest challenge for me. I had established relationships and I knew I could get a few appointments, but it wasn't going to make me competitive. And the biggest challenge that I had being captive was not being able to help people out that were referred to me just because they didn't fit that box. So having the opportunity to come on with WeInsure gave me the carrier access that I was looking for, but the back end support. I was giving up my salary and my commissions to start my own business. So the financial stress on a personal level was there. And knowing that I could keep myself small in the beginning and keep my overhead expenses low was very important to me. So we allowed me that opportunity, which was the biggest thing. And now we're growing. I actually had a new producer start on Monday, and he's learning the ins and outs of the insurance world. And it's kind of a moment because he was where I was, 7 years ago, not knowing anything and, really excited for the new adventure. And the one great thing about the industry, it's ever changing. You're faced with new challenges every day. Every client is different. Every client's needs are different. And being able to actually help all those people that I used to have to say, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I have the opportunity to help them now.
That's fantastic. And again, you're leveraging everything we'd hope one would coming into, We Insure is, access to all the carriers brings a lot of folks in. But the support on the back end, allowing you to leverage your time to really help grow that book of business is pretty much the key to success long term. So thank you for sharing that. Any words of advice for any female entrepreneurs out there, or anyone looking to, during our national expansion, anyone looking to come aboard with We Insure?
Jump. Make the jump. If you're sitting on the fence, make the jump. I learned 2020 was a very challenging year for me on a personal level. And I learned that the hard work that you put in, the time that you put in does reap a reward. I didn't intend to have 2 producers working for me a year and a half into, opening my agency. And here I am, expanding, which is great. It's a huge accomplishment. But if you have any doubt whether it's in the insurance industry or another industry, and you're watching this video, make the jump, because if your heart is in it, you will be successful. And I'm glad that I made the jump. And as I've always said, my biggest regret was not making the jump sooner. But God's timing is everything, and this all worked out the way that it did for a reason, and I'm accepting and very blessed.
Well, I have to say, Ashley, thank you for joining us, and we love having you part of the We family. And I just want to thank everybody else for joining us today, and again, giving us an opportunity to kind of celebrate some of our We Wonder Women, but really our female owners out there during Women's History Month, because they're all making their own history. And so that's the key. If you're interested in finding out more about We Insure, feel free to look us up at the WeInsureGroup.com, and we can get back to you and help you out. We are looking at multiple states this year as we grow forward. And again, thank you all for joining us. And again, it was a great We Wonder. Thanks, Ashley.
Thank you.